What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and some more Hail Caesar coverage here as we move along in our series of faction review videos. Today we're going to take a look at a little something off the beaten path here, and that is the Scots-Irish, which, as far as this list goes, roughly covers 1st century BC up through 9th century AD, and definitely one of the territories where there's not that much attention often in sort of the classical or historical ancients sort of gaming, right? Rome always grabs the attention, and then you get to the Middle Ages, Dark Ages, all that stuff. You get Vikings and other things and upward, but yeah, this is definitely a little bit, like I said, off the beaten path here, but nonetheless a very cool history, and certainly contemporary with some of these more well-known, more powerful, in some ways better represented lists and factions that are out there again during this time period, but something cool to explore and certainly a worthy modeling and hobby project, and certainly something that could look cool on the tabletop. So a couple things to look at just to familiarize yourself with Scots-Irish in this ancient period here. So Dalriada, Battle of Dagestan, Battle of Mag, Wrath, and more and more. So, and again, there's all kinds of great resources out there, whether it's in book form, online documentaries. Just definitely dive in if you're interested in this. So this is certainly an infantry heavy list, right? At least 50% has to be infantry, and you can pretty much max that out, although at least this is definitely an interesting list requirement here, something we haven't really seen, but chariots have to be at least 10%, up to maybe a 1/4%. Or, and it's interesting, we don't really get many ors in our factions that we've seen for Hail Caesar, or cavalry can be up to 10%. So would you rather basically have slightly more cavalry in the sense of chariots with up to a 1/4 of the list, or strictly just regular cavalry up to 10%. So up to a 1/4 of the units can be chariots, and at least 1 in 10 units in the same army must be chariots if chariots are fielded. So definitely got to plan that out. And then if no chariots are fielded, however, 1 in 10 basically can be cavalry. Other than that, pretty standard stuff, although skirmishers here can be up to 50% of the infantry per division, whereas typically we see that, I think, at 25%. So let's jump into the list. It is not a very long list, so this will be a little bit briefer here. So your main bread and butter basically is just sort of warband here after warband of these medium infantry blocks, right? So medium infantry warband with swords and javelins. So you got a little bit of close range potential you can do here, and then you can pay a little bit extra here to make your warbands fianna, and that's up to half of them. And basically what that does is for 1 point you can get tough fighters. So given that this is going to be the most common unit in your list, just by default, right, you might as well find a way to spare that extra point and have a whole bunch of tough fighters here. And really you can do some neat things there where you can maybe like group up a lot of your tough fighter warbands and sort of push one flank with that just to get that extra little edge. But again, a whole army here of essentially clash 9, so you're definitely going to hit hard if you can get those charges. Again, as with all warbands, right, the weakness there is it certainly drops off in fighting potential down to a 6. These are, again, specifically medium infantry, so no heavy infantry in this list. So morale saves of 5 there. You get the most basic of skirmisher packages here. So we get javelins and slings. There's no bows here. So your typical small unit skirmisher packages there. And then basically our choice between either the chariots or the cavalry. Now, chariots are going to give you that 4-up morale save. You got the clash of 6, sustain of 5, but again, chariots have some of their own special rules and all that. Pretty hefty short range ability there, just with, again, how those function. And these guys actually have fierce fighters, which we, again, rarely get to see, but also going to be your most expensive unit. But again, I feel like between that and maxing out the Fianna warbands, and again, just keeping it nice and simple, there's an I feel like that's certainly the way to go over the light cavalry. Now, if you want to go light cav, again, they're cheap. They're javelins and small unit light cavalry, but I think overall the chariots are going to do more for you, even if they're just there to draw attention, because, again, people will, I think, probably overreact to just how much they can actually do, and that's really where, if they're not paying attention to all those blocks and blocks of warband medium infantry, they're going to basically get overrun. So commanders here, interesting. So One commander must be provided per division, as is normal. All commanders, including the general, are leadership 8. So, for such a small and just in comparison to other factions, again, say obscure list, we're not dealing with leadership 7, which is nice. And interestingly here, for the general, or actually all commanders, sorry, and can add up to 4 attacks instead of the usual 3. So that's a neat little wrinkle there. We have not seen that yet. I am fairly certain. So some pretty nasty commanders if you do want to commit them into your lists there. So this could be one where you sort of just create maybe more divisions than normal, maybe slightly smaller divisions, and then basically just try to get more commanders onto the field too, just to add that extra punch. But again, depending on how you size up your games, whether you're going by points or maybe just divisions fielded, there's different ways to do it. But overall, a neat little list, very simple, and could be fun to, again, collect the models and sort of customize them more to, after doing some research, what these sort of ancient Scots-Irish would look like. But let us know in the comments, guys, if you've either played or collected this particular force, again, whether you're running Hail Caesar or different ancients set of rules, or if you've come up against that, and sort of how has that list performed either for you or against you, and what were you playing to deal with it if it was on the other side. So overall, like I said, pretty neat. But not too much to really say about it. Again, just pretty simple, and you're really gonna essentially have like one real build with this. Your variations here are going to be few, and it's basically cavalry versus chariots. And again, I think it's pretty clear that the chariots are the better choice here, certainly. So typical list, I think, here would be essentially max out the chariots, take that whole 25%, and then go basically 75% infantry, and sprinkle in your skirmishers and stuff as needed. So that's pretty simple, and but nonetheless potentially effective. And again, an opponent not having played these yet might certainly underestimate what can be done with a competent hand running this. So hope you guys enjoyed a quick look here at the Scots-Irish. We'll be moving on, as we said, so drop a comment, like and subscribe, and we will have more for you soon. Take care.